right, let's welcome in Tyrese. Tyrese, what's good, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing?
Got the brand new ring light.
Yeah, you see, I look good. I need a haircut, but other than that, I'm feeling good.
It's been a couple months actually since we had you on, so this is sort of long overdue. Season for you ended a few weeks ago. What have you been up to, man?
I worked. I obviously got hurt as the season ended. Actually in Dallas, and then didn't get to play for the end of the year. But my thing was I wanted to, continue the rehab stuff while I was still in Sacramento. So, right after the season ended, I was still at the gym every day for like a week or two, doing all my rehab and stuff, getting my knee back to 100%. And then I went on vacation, went to Hawaii with, my girl and some of our friends. And then I just recently had LASIK eye surgery in LA. So, just a lot of stuff going on.
So your 3-point percentage might actually go up after LASIK. From what
hopefully,
you might get the Steph Curry where he actually becomes a better shooter afterwards.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this vacation a little bit, only because, for like the fan, right? They've probably got a preconceived notion of what an NBA vacation looks like. And I would assume that this was sort of the first, I don't want to like put words like, but the first like baller vacation you've been on, where you really treated yourself. You had a little bit of bread to take care of yourself and the people you were with. So what did this vacation look like?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to go on vacation. I knew I wanted to do something with my friends. So me and my girl got together, like her closest girlfriends. I got together like my brothers and my closest homies from home. And then we just made the decision to go to Hawaii. The reason being, not everybody had a passport, and I didn't want to make it a difficult, stressful await for all these passports. So just decided to go to Hawaii. And I flew first class there. It's the first time I've ever flown first class before in my life. So
congratulations.
That was a cool experience. I look forward to continuing to do that in my life. But really, we just got like a private villa in Hawaii with a nice like pool area, not too far from the ocean, where we could just kind of relax, sit by the pool. My biggest thing was just being able to do what I wanted to do, being able to, like, I brought my game and my girl was like, why are you bringing your game to vacation? I'm like, listen, I don't want to sit in the sun all day. Sometimes I just want to play my game and relax. And it was a very relaxing week for me. And just to be able to be there with my closest friends was a lot of fun for me.
How is your mobility in terms of the injury and everything like that?
I'm 100%. I'm doing all my workouts 100% right now. I feel perfectly fine. I think more than anything, it was a scare for me. I just kind of felt that in my knee, and it was like just an action that your knee was like not supposed to do. So immediately I was very worried, and I think I was just scared more than anything. But we just came out with obviously the bone bruise, the hyperextension, and I'm very lucky. For how I feel.
I don't know if you've had time yet to reflect. Maybe it was while you were on vacation in Hawaii, but reflecting back a little bit on the last year of your life and specifically your rookie year, do you have any big takeaways or lessons learned in your rookie year in the NBA?
I think there's a lot to it. But I think there's this line that, like, when I was a kid, LeBron said it, and I think like Kyrie might have like also agreed with it, or like Melo or somebody, and I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? But the line was, there's a lot of guys in the NBA who don't like know how to play like basketball. You know what I'm saying? And that was something for me that I really learned this year. And no, I hope people don't take this as subliminal shots at my teammates. This has nothing to do with the Sacramento Kings, but
we're talking in general about the 450 players.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There's just a lot of guys that don't understand like basic concepts, like, pick and roll, like the right way to tag, like pick and roll coverages, just little things like that opponents of mine that I see don't have the aren't very good at it, and I can expose those things. That was obviously that was, I think, the biggest shocker, the biggest thing that if I tell people, they probably wouldn't know. But other than that, the obvious things of how strong everybody is, how big everybody is, that's surprising. But I think something about the NBA is it's a lot more simple to like a basketball mind. Like to me, the NBA is just a lot of pick and roll and a lot of one-on-one, get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? It's not like college and high school and AU and you play that team that runs the flex. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not running into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, end of the game, get the ball to your best player, get in a pick and roll, get the matchup you want, and expose it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that was my kind of biggest realization. That's going to allow me to work on the right things this summer as I get ready for year 2.
I think the obvious follow-up question to your lesson learned is, who is the dumbest player you played against this year?
No, I don't. I like to say though that I think a hard spot in the NBA is to be a young big. I think that's hard in the NBA. Like young bigs, they just got a lot to learn. It's a lot of like communication to tell me where the screen's coming from, to know what we're doing to certain guys. We're blitzing this guy. We're in a deep drop with this guy. For me, I think it's really difficult for young bigs. And I obviously play a lot of pick and roll in our offense. So for me, I'd say like young bigs are the guys that you can probably have, the most fun with.
JJ, this is for you too, for both of you. So obviously your teammate Luka, what Trey's doing in Atlanta right now, and then Ja as well. These young guards that are coming in, been in the league 1 year, 2 years, and are dominating playoff series. They're not just having a good game or two or a good week or whatever it is. They're coming in and they're taking on guys who've won multiple championships and taking them to Game 7 or even winning series. Are you surprised at all about how quickly these guys have been able to sort of reach this level? Or is this something you really just have seen throughout, your time in the league, and it just feels like recency bias? Like there's always been good guards that have come in and been able to sort of take over right away.
I would say I'm not surprised at Trey or Luka, just because the Rick is such a good tactician, and our concepts are so good for Luka's skill set. Rick is so good at exposing, as Tyrese said, exposing matchups and exposing advantages that we have. And Luka, to his credit, is smart enough, skilled enough, and big enough to make all the right plays. Trey, I'm not surprised, even though Trey's not the size that Luka is. He's quick, he's super skilled, he's smart. The thing about Atlanta that we're seeing is they have a bunch of skilled players. They're coming off the bench with guys like Gallo and Lou Williams. Bogdanovich has been huge for them. John Collins is shooting well. Like they have skilled players. So you're surrounding a great playmaker with great skilled players. I'm not saying I was surprised at Ja. I would say this, like Ja's fearlessness in attacking, and the way he just sort of went at Gobert and pick and roll over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying I was surprised, but like I was impressed that he was amazing in that series.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. I mean, for me, like Luka and Trey, or like Luka and Trey have both, like, they've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like before they got to the league, like even Trey, you can go to high school, you can talk about him at Oklahoma. Like this is what he's done, for the last couple of years since he's really hit the scene. And Luka's obviously been a pro for a long time. So, or, for the last, 4 or 5 years, like I think that this isn't a surprise by those two guys. Like they were all-stars last year. Like they're obviously very good players. So I don't think that's a surprise. And then, like you talk about Ja, like where he, like being at Murray State, like a mid-major guy, like and just how hard he plays like every night. I don't think it's like that big of a surprise either. These are just great young players that are coming into the league. And I think there's a ton of those guys, in our league that are coming into it. And I think that's just kind of the new wave of guys. And I think before us, when there was that transition from, the guys in the early 2000s more over to, like the LeBrons and the Carmelos and the D Wades, like they had been doing this, and they just kind of the passing of the torch. It's just young guys come in and, they're ready to take the bull by the horns.
Tommy, we were accused very often last August and fall of being a Miami Heat podcast. And more recently, we've basically become a Dallas Maverick podcast. But I just want to say there's a danger that we become a Memphis Grizzly podcast. I love what they're doing there. I love the culture they've built. I love what Taylor Jenkins has done as a coach. Shout out to my college teammate at Duke, Dave McClure, who's on their bench over there too. Grayson Allen, another Duke guy. But they've just built this like culture of like hard playing, tough nosed, fearless guys between Dylan Brooks, John Morant, JJJ, Valanciunas, all this stuff. Like, to me, they're like a piece away, right? They're a piece away, and maybe it's development. Maybe JJJ takes a leap next year, but they're a piece away from being a contender in the West. And I'm just super impressed with what they've done. Tyrese, let's talk a little bit about the Rookie of the Year. May 21st, you were named one of the finalists for the Rookie of the Year. Who do you think wins? Who's the Rookie of the Year?
Well, I would like to say myself.
Say yourself then. Say yourself.
I mean, obviously, I think I had a great year, but I think Ant and Melo had great years too. I think what they were able to do this season, and kind of just like our class as a whole, but obviously us three are the ones that they're pointing out. Like, there was a lot of questions about all three of us, and all three of us were able to come out and have really good years. And I think there's a bright future for all three of us. I see all three of us doing very well in this league. So, but if you ask me, of course, I'm going to say myself. I have to say myself. Okay. That's the for sure answer.
That's fair. Tommy, I don't know if you remember this. I feel like every draft class, right, they make these like predictions about. We were actually talking about this earlier, actually yesterday during our exit interviews while we were waiting around, different times, guys at different times for the exit interviews. But they make these like pronunciations or like declarations about a draft class before the draft class ever plays an NBA game. This is a weak draft class. This is a strong draft class. This is a top heavy draft class, whatever it may be. We use the example of 2013, which was supposedly an historically bad draft class. Anthony Bennett, of course, went first, but you've got now Giannis and CJ McCollum and Rudy Gobert. I think Draymond was in that class too. Like you got to give this some time. Your class off the jump has had a number of contributors on different teams, but even in the playoffs as well. I think it speaks to just the depth of your class. I think if we look back 5 years from now, you're going to have a few star players, of course, like every draft. But your class seems to me like it's a super deep class.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. I think we got a lot of guys that were given opportunities early in their careers and are taking advantage of it. And I also think there are guys who haven't gotten an opportunity that still have the ability to offer a lot more. But yeah, that notion and that we don't have people are like, there's no stars in this draft. I don't understand, because they act like every draft is supposed to be like 96, like, oh, if you don't got Kobe, AI, and Ray Allen, y'all are trash. Like, if you don't got LeBron, D Wade, Melo, and Bosh, like, y'all aren't nice. Like, I don't agree with that notion. I think that there are obviously guys who get paid to say certain things about guys in college, but I mean, like, for the most part, you're talking about 19, 20-year-olds who still have a lot to learn and a lot to show. Like, there are some guys don't pick the right college system, and they're not allowed to go do what they do best. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think we've had a great year, and like, I always mess about it on Twitter, and I think that kind of little motivation is good to have. Like, me and Ant were talking about it, like, yo, this is like, they told us we were going to be terrible, and like, we're obviously having great years. So it's cool for us.
Do you think in your case, I don't know if we talked about this, do you think in your case it's because a lot of people didn't actually watch you play in college? So they were like, you didn't have whatever hype, so they just immediately said you're something that you're not?
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of college basketball is like, if you're not like one of the top teams, like a lot of your hype going into the draft or whatever is what you do late February and March. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some people don't watch college basketball at all until that time. So if you're not in the tournament to watch play, then a lot of dudes who don't know who you are. So I think that has a lot to do with it for sure.
Tommy,
right.
you're saying that you didn't watch a lot of the Big 12 network on Tuesday nights.
I watched every single one of Tyrese's college games. Every single one.
Yeah.
I want a bold playoff prediction from everybody.
You're going to have to give one too, Tommy.
I'm going
to. Be very clear on that.
I'm going to.
All right.
Everybody includes me.
All right. Let's go. Tyrese, you go first.
I don't know if it's a bold take, but I say the Brooklyn Nets win the finals regardless of what happens.
That's not a bold,
we said bold take, not an obvious take.
Go again. Come on,
guy.
That doesn't count. Go again.
What's supposed to be a bold take in our remaining series?
Not that.
Right,
not that. That does not count.
Okay, then can I say I feel like Atlanta will beat Philadelphia.
Oh,
yes,
that's a bold
That
take.
is a bold take.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
That's my. But I feel like I guess the West has some good series. I think, but my final prediction is Brooklyn will play Phoenix in the finals and win in 6.
Tommy, what's your bold prediction for the playoffs?
I think the Clippers are going to go to the finals.
Wow.
I'm not sure that they will win it, but I think they're going to go to the finals. I thought whoever won your series versus them was going.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they pulled it out, and so I think that the West. I mean, the West is going to be really fun. It's very unpredictable, but I think they match up well with the rest of the teams in the West, and they will be in the finals.
Okay, all right. My prediction is that Phoenix wins the West. Tyrese sort of stole my thunder on that one, but my prediction is Phoenix wins the West. I like their team. I think they're the most complete team in the West.
I also think because of Chris and some of the other guys there, I wouldn't mind us becoming a Phoenix Suns podcast for
They're good, man. They're good. They got a lot of pieces.
We'll see. And by the way, Tommy, I'm just, I know I told you this during the series, but like I said to Tommy, I was like, whoever wins Clippers Dallas is probably going to win the West, But my prediction, like after the fact, like I still think Clippers, obviously, I think they're the favorites probably if you look at it objectively. But I just have a feeling on the Suns team. They're the way they're playing right now. They seem to me like the most complete team.
The crowd was special.
Yeah.
The crowd yesterday was special.